This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, depending on where you are in the world. As I said before, if you're just getting on, please put your son's name in the chat function with where you're from and what grade he's in. The chat function is at the top right of your screen and just helps us to know like where people are from. um, I am Angela Jackson Mapetla. I'm the Director of Admissions here at Blue Ridge School, and generally I work with our international families. So I know that I've met some of you, and some of you will be waiting to meet like next in the next coming weeks. Today is day 2 of our webinars for new families, and they're returning families on here as well, so they can give their input on how their year has gone or their time has gone. We're super happy to have. Last night we spoke about the dorms and res life. This evening we will speak about academics and scheduling, and all of the things that the parents are like super, super concerned about after you know that he's going to be safe in his dorm space and that he has all the stuff. Now, what is he learning? Where is your investment going? So we are happy to have Amber Wilkins, who's the Associate Head of School for curriculum, as well as like our college counseling, director of college counseling. As well, we have Jack Warren, who is our Dean of Academics, and Courtney Gardner, who is the registrar and the associate of academics. I will turn it over to them because I'm not exactly sure on which order they want to speak. If you have questions, you can put your questions in the chat or you can raise your hand and I'll just help to monitor how those are going. Okay? Amber, Jack, Courtney, it is in your
Yeah,
hands.
yeah, I'll get us started. Thanks, Angela. Hi, everyone. My name is Jack Warren. I'm the academic dean here. I'll let Amber and Courtney introduce them in a second here, but I'm just going to get us started by just giving you an overview of our academic programming and kind of our philosophy and mission with our academics. I'll kick it over to Amber eventually, and she'll talk a little bit more about the college counseling process. And then Courtney and I will kind of wrap it up with scheduling and what classes your son's actually going to take this upcoming year, and then we'll open it up to questions as we go. But I just want to kind of back up and talk about our academic philosophy first. And I'm the academic dean here. I'm also a science teacher, and I've been at Blue Ridge now for 9 years. And when I think about why do I keep coming back every year? I think about the boarding school community. I think about the relationships that I've built here. I've built here with students, and I think that's really at the heart of what makes our academic program so special. Our faculty are really first rate. They're our teaching staff. They're passionate. They're supportive, and they come to a school like Blue Ridge, a smaller boarding school kind of experience, because they want to be really involved in students' lives, right? Both in the classroom, in the residential halls, in coaching, in the athletic field, and where we start with our academics is really the relationships between the teachers and the students. And we have a really strong belief that students, especially boys, need to have a really strong connection with their teachers in order to learn from them, to get the most out of them. So that's where we kind of start and we kind of build everything from there. And our teachers are top notch and really passionate about doing just that. Our program, I think, we have a really good balance of being rigorous college prep, by also being very supportive and personalized to each student. So I can talk about the college prep side of it for a little bit first. All of our departments have challenging coursework, honors APs. That's certainly an option too. But all of our teachers engage with, very engaging and creative projects and curriculum, things that are very authentic and very real world, but also challenging and the things that are going to get them ready for that next step eventually. But they're also very supportive. We have very small classes, max 15, but our average class size is 11. So that really allows teachers to get to know their kids really well and to really support them and their individual needs, whatever that is. We also have a excellent learning center for about a third of our student population to get any kind of more specialized support. We have that really good mix of being very engaging, very challenging and rigorous in college prep, but also being very supportive and community centric and relationship centric. And I think together we can offer a really, strong and excellent personalized education for your boys. So from there, I'm going to kind of kick it over to Amber, and Amber can talk a little bit more about, if she wants to, a little bit more about the academic philosophy, but also more about the college counseling process. So,
Thanks, Jack. Hello, everybody, and welcome officially to Blue Ridge. As I think Angela said, Jack said as well, this is such an exciting time of year for all of us to welcome a new group of boys and families into the fold here at Blue Ridge. I think Jack touched on it a little bit, just that there's people here who truly do care about your boys and care about you all and really want to support them in any way that they possibly can. My title here, I'm the assistant head of school for instructional programs, and it pretty much oversees kind of the day-to-day internal operations of a lot of the different programs here on campus. But my passion, what I have done since I've been here for the past 9 years, in addition to that title, is I oversee our college counseling department. We have 2 college counselors here on staff, myself and Alex Dietrich. We work to support students not only as they explore colleges and college outcomes with the intention that that's hopefully what we're hoping to cultivate within them to do, but also to help them cultivate passions and really figure out, again, where their strengths are, where they're going to be successful, how they're going to be successful, and how can we set them off on the right path here. And so we do that, so if as early as the 9th grade, I know we have a wide range of families here from 9th grade to some 1-year seniors. So we meet students where they are within 9th grade. Some of that involves, again, getting them excited about a college-going culture and a college-going experience, setting them up for success in terms of course placement, but also getting them excited about interest. And then as far as the 11th grade, really getting them to start taking standardized testing, getting set up for college exploration and visiting schools. What I like to say about our college counseling program is it's a handheld process, but it's a team dynamic. And so we work with the families to really support the needs of the students to try to figure out where's their best fit place going to be. I know when a lot of you all were, sort of going through the admissions process, you saw our school profile, and you probably saw a listing of the schools that our boys elect to go to. It's varying. It's wide range. We're really proud of our college list and our college outcomes for students. But I think one of the things that I'm more excited about is that they're successful in those places, that we really do try to find the best place for them to be successful. I'll throw another thing out there that I oversee is our advising program. And the advising program here at Blue Ridge it's twofold. It's to educate and to inform, to cultivate character development in our boys to help them with growth, but to also provide a relational aspect to really connect them with someone who can help them to reach their goals and to figure out what those are going to look like for them. So you all get to work with a person that we assign as your son's advisor, open lines of communication, and so I oversee that program as well. But again, it's nice to meet you all. We're excited to answer any questions that you have and kind of help you to maybe release some anxiety that you might be feeling, as we get ready to start this year. But yeah, welcome, and we're excited. And Courtney, do you want to just introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'll just say again, everyone at Blue Ridge is really excited to meet all of you guys, and the academic team is super excited to meet all of you guys. Again, my name is Courtney Gardner. I am the registrar at Blue Ridge, so I handle scheduling alongside Jack and Amber, and I handle all of your transcripts, whether you come from across the seas or right here in the U.S. I get all of those. I look at them, and then I put them into your new Blue Ridge transcript, which you will get at the end of the academic year, which seems very far away. I also handle elective signups. So most of you guys should have received an email from me, students, in your Gmail about an elective signup. If you haven't, just email me later tonight or tomorrow, and I can get that to you guys. That is your elective sign-up form, and that is for your elective for this upcoming fall. And the quicker you sign up, the quicker you are to get in a class that you are more interested in and would like to be in. And like Jack, now we'll just explain scheduling.
Yeah, no, thanks, Courtney. And Courtney has been working really hard this summer to kind of get everyone, kind of look through those transcripts and get everyone in the most appropriate classes for them. I'll talk a little bit about scheduling just generally. Like I said, Courtney takes a lot of time this summer, and I, help a little bit more in August after my summer. Just kind of getting students into the appropriate classes. So we spend a lot of time looking at your son's transcripts from their old schools and placing them in the appropriate classes. So the way that we do course placement, at least for our core classes, so science, history, math, English, and foreign language, we'll look at the courses your son already has credits in, and then place them kind of within our sequence. So for example, if your son took Algebra 1 as a ninth grader, in our sequence, they would take geometry then as a 10th grader. So Courtney and I will automatically do that for you. So for your core classes, there's nothing you really need to do or sign up for. The core classes we handle ourselves. The only kind of two parts that we really appreciate help from either you or from your boys. First, like Courtney mentioned, is the elective sign up. So we have a pretty wide variety of electives for your boys to choose from. Classes in music, art, the outdoors. We have health and wellness courses, economics courses, research-based courses. So depending on just what your interests are or where your son's interests are, they have a lot of options to choose there. And then the other thing to kind of think about too is that especially for you junior and senior students, is if you want to take like AP courses or advanced placement courses. So those are not necessarily something we would just randomly place you in. Those are something that we take a lot of time and care into to ensure that the students that are placed in there can be successful in those courses, because they are more challenging, and those students do take a test at the end of the year for college credit. Those are certainly things that you can we can talk about now, or you can email Courtney and I about kind of exploring advanced placement or other honors or advanced options. But generally speaking, Courtney and I will handle the majority of your son's schedule. Certainly by the time that they come here for registration day, they should have at least a list of the courses that they'll be assigned to take this year. So you'll have an idea by the time that your son comes here for registration day about what courses that they're going to be taking this year. And then, of course, if there's any requests or any kind of changes you want to make or questions you have, that's an ongoing process that we can certainly work through up until the beginning of school. So I think, Courtney, anything you would want to add about scheduling this upcoming year that I missed?
No, I think you covered it all.
Great. So I think from there we can open it up, unless someone else has something else they want to add. I think we can open it up to questions. And I see a question in the chat: is there one elective per semester? So that's a good question. So it depends. Generally, yes. So students will take 6 classes a semester. The core classes like science, math, English, history, and foreign language are year-long courses. And assuming that they still need to take a foreign language class, that they haven't completed their foreign language requirement, then yes, you'd have one space for an elective class. Generally, those elective classes are 1 semester courses, so they pick one elective course for the fall semester, and then they would pick a different semester course, elective course for the spring semester. Of course, if someone has already fulfilled their foreign language requirement a little early, that would open them up for a second elective course. But we do require that all students every year take 1 math, 1 history, 1 English, and 1 science course a year. So 4 spots are kind of occupied by those core classes.
Yasmin, you had a question?
Yes. Did you state, Mr. Warren, did you say that the email that the students were sent the electives requests in their email, their email, not to us, correct?
Yeah, so it should have been sent to the
Yeah.
student's Blue Ridge email, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And this is a great time while they're home for you guys to start training them on checking their emails. Pretty much all of our communications are going to go through email when they're here as students. So it's good practice and good habit to start checking those now. Um,
There's
It
one
looks
more
like there's a
question in the
question
chat
about
about,
how many years of foreign language. Yeah, so it's
yeah,
3
so
years.
that's,
3 years.
sorry.
No, go ahead, Jack. You go ahead.
I was going to say 3 years in the same language is the requirement.
I'll also weigh in. I don't think we spent. I'm not sure how many athletes we have on this chat. One other thing that I didn't mention during the college process is I do take a look at schedules as well to ensure that students are meeting NCAA requirements for Division I or Division II college athletics. So if that is something that sort of came up during the admissions process and your son is sort of has that aspiration, we ensure on the front end of things that they are set up for success in that process. So we ensure that that happens as long as they're here. So we double check that, sort of every time we schedule a student to make sure they're not taking any duplicate classes and that they are meeting the requirements for that.
Jack, I also wanted to pinpoint off of what you said. If your son is in the FLC, the Learning Center, he will not take an elective. So he will have his 4 core classes, foreign language, and his FLC class. So then if you know your son is going to be in a foreign language and the FLC, he can fill out the elective form, and then we'll look at it again in the spring. But his 6 classes will be taken up.
John, you had a question?
Oops. Sorry. Hi. Ooh, yeah, you can hear me. Hi. Thank you very much for the call. I'm Marnie, my husband John. But regarding the academics and the athletics as it comes to college, could you maybe comment a little bit on how that process works? Like, obviously you're getting to know the athlete, you're also getting to know the student,
Yeah.
but how that process works for the student, how engaged the parents are and how you interact, just with the coaches,
Yeah,
sort
I
of
mean,
looking at the whole student. Thank you.
yeah, it's a team effort. So I and Alex Dietrich work in close partnership with our coaches here in terms of really trying to figure out, okay, from an athletic perspective, what sort of college a student going to be successful in a playing capacity. Are they better suited for a Division I caliber school, Division II caliber school, Division III caliber school? From my perspective, I get to know them from the academic perspective. How successful are they going to be in certain schools? So I have knowledge of sort of academic rigor at different colleges, and so I'm able to weigh both sides of things in partnership with the coaches. So I'll say if a coach says, University of Denver is recruiting so and so, and I say, oh, that's a little bit big, maybe let's consider this option. It's a Division I option that allows them to get the academic support they might need. Sort of maybe let's let it from that perspective. Or I say, okay, University of Denver, here's what he's going to need to be successful. He might need additional academic supports in place. We might need to be proactive in terms of working with their learning support center at the University of Denver to ensure that they are set up for success. I also help in partnership with our coaches here on the ground in terms of recruiting. So ensuring that students are actively reaching out to coaches. We help them craft emails and communications with certain coaches. So for example, we have a young man who is pursuing golf recruitment. So this summer we helped him to create templates that he could use to copy and paste to send to coaches and make sure they had his transcript, they knew his playing background, they knew his academics structure, and that he had that kind of in place to be able to make those connections with coaches, and then kept a spreadsheet for him to be able to track that. So I would say it's a partnership in terms of how we navigate, again, what's going to be the best fit place for them, but also what's going to be the best academic fit for them. And that's kind of like I said, a joint effort. From the parent perspective, the same thing goes. We have parent calls. We're constantly in contact with you all. Actually, in the parent newsletter that I see Whitney up here that she sends out, there's a college counseling section of that parent newsletter, and both Alex and I keep our meeting calendar in there. So you're constantly able to schedule time with us to talk about sort of anything that comes up. So I hope that answers your question. But yeah, it's definitely a team dynamic, both to make sure they get to play where they want to play, but they're going to be successful in that place. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Amber, will you speak a little bit about just the college representatives coming and kind of the numbers that we've had and
Yeah, so we just sent out to, I think we sent out a campaign to about 200 plus colleges a couple of days ago to come to do in-person visits here on campus for our students. And so generally speaking, have anywhere from 60 to 100 college out of the whole academic year come to campus and meet with students. Generally, we have our juniors and seniors come to these on-campus visits to meet with admissions reps. But we have, in rare occasions, had the occasional 10th grader say that they want to come and join. A lot of them can be virtual as well. So if we don't have the ability to have an in-person rep come, so for example, University of Rhode Island just signed up, they're going to do a virtual session for our students. And so we have those throughout the academic day for students to come learn about different colleges. We also do a college off-campus trip for students in the spring. So we'll usually do, 4 or 5 different schools where we take students to, they can sign up and go visit campuses that way. But college reps come to campus, they meet with students, they answer questions, they have that face-to-face interaction with students, and they kind of get a chance to learn more about the schools. So.
thank you. Other questions?
Yeah, how do we find the Blue Ridge email?
Sure. That the emails will be in the student guidebook. It is typically the first letter of his name and the last name at blueridgeschool.com, and you'll just set that up through just going through Gmail. Is that correct, Mr. Peterson? Um,
But what's the password?
Yes.
Like,
the password is in the student guidebook. Mr. Peterson is a new parent, but he's also our IT person. I won't put him on the spot to be like a speaker for today, but he will. I'm sure he'll answer that question for us.
okay. All right, thank you.
Someone had their hand up, and so Ahmed, Mr. Lasheen.
Hi.
Hi,
Yeah,
how are you?
hi. I'm fine, thank you. I'm just asking about this Miss Gardner mentioned about the FLC. My son is going to be a FLC in year 10. So I didn't get exactly what is the elective that he will pass by, or you mentioned something about the student who has enrolled in FLC. Could you please explain more?
Yeah, I can take that one. So if your son is enrolled in the Learning Center, that constitutes one class period within the day. So again, you have your 4 core classes. And then if your son's also taking a foreign language class, that's 5. And then the 6th block would be the Learning Center block. So if your son is enrolled in the Learning Center and has not completed their foreign language requirement, then they would not get an elective option.
Uh, but he will not be able to get the foreign language anyway. So he will not already uh, enrolled in any foreign language. So uh, exactly it will be 5 subjects, not 6.
So if he's not enrolled in a foreign language course, then he does have the option to do the elective. So he can sign up for the elective. He can still fill out the form, and then Courtney and I will look at his transcript and the credits he has, and we'll put together his schedule. So he'll still have the 6 classes.
Okay, that's great. I understand now. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And I'm sure that Yusuf will let us know if he's not happy.
Yeah,
Yasmin?
yeah, yeah.
Yes, do we fill
Thank,
out the foreign language? Do we request that, or is it picked for the students?
So
We,
so our option is we have Spanish. So we have one foreign language
Okay.
class that we offer for Spanish. So they'll be placed in Spanish.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Other questions? While you're getting your questions together, I will take a moment to introduce Whitney Allen. Whitney was on the call yesterday as well. In technology, sometimes technologies, and so we couldn't hear her. Whitney is new to the Blue Ridge team as of maybe 6 days, and so she is our parent relations director, and you'll be hearing a lot from her. She has boarding school experience, so she kind of knows the feel of things. Whitney, if you just like to introduce yourself and a little bit about your role, that'd be awesome. And you guys can put your questions in the chat, or you can raise your hands and we'll take more questions about academics.
Testing, testing.
Good deal.
Awesome. Okay. Hi, Whitney Allen. I'm a Virginia native. I attended Chatham Hall, which is an all girls private boarding school here in Virginia. I'm a third generation boarding school graduate. My dad, my grandfather, his brothers, and my brother all attended all boys boarding schools. And my brother is currently a house parent and foreign language teacher and English teacher at a boarding school. And he has been doing that for 14 years. So my family is very well versed in the boarding school experience and love it very much. And I'm very excited to be here to support you all on your end as parents and grandparents, or however you are in relation to the sons that are joining our community. And I am thrilled to make sure that this experience is great for them and bring a piece of home to them on campus, and celebrating their birthdays and supporting them during exams and anything else that I can do to make it a great experience.
So, along with your advisor, your son's advisor, that will be your primary point of contact. You'll also have Whitney, that you'll hear from on a weekly basis. I know that yesterday, I think there were some questions about advisors, and Amber has touched on that, some of the things that advisors do. Maybe, Amber, do you want to talk about like goal setting and things with advisors?
Yeah, absolutely. So a big focus is on goals, really establishing those early on. The advisor, if you all are still trying to figure out who your son's advisor is, in the parents guide, the students guide that was sent out, the advisor name should be listed there, as well as their contact email address. So they are aware of any new students who have been assigned to their advisory group. So I encourage you to reach out to them. They're expecting, and they should be reaching out to you, actually. Ask them to send welcome emails, so those should be coming soon as well. But if you have questions, about just anything at Blue Ridge, they're generally too also your first contact. But the advisor helps students to set up goals, helps to support their day-to-day. We have advisory meetings. Generally, sometimes they run from about 10 minutes to 30 minutes, almost every day, where they check in with them after different meetings to see how things are going, to give them, sort of a feedback on what to expect for the day. But the advisor is there as kind of your son's liaison, and in some situations, advocate, just to really support their transition here, but also to help as well. So goal setting we do for the advisory program. We do different activities in terms of really cultivating, again, an understanding of themselves, their interest in the world. We do sort of equity conversations and discussions, sort of dating discussions. We do a lot of different things, and so a lot of these activities just really support them and their growth as young men here in this community. But I would say the primary focus is the goals, to help them to create those and to see them through. There's also check-in periods to see how they're doing academically, just to keep them abreast of that. So it's a wide range in terms of the advisee role, but again, it's just support and a resource.
Thank you. A question in the chat is just about yesterday's recording, and we'll send the recordings out at the end of the week with all 3 sessions, so you'll be able to have yesterday when we talked about res life and dorms. I think that from your tours or from your visits or from your meetings, you will see the consistency that one, your son will be seen, he will be known, and he will be a Blue Ridge Baron. Two, there's so many people that are concerned about his well-being and your well-being as well, because it is a hard transition to like let your kids go. I mean, some of you might be like, "Ooh, it's not hard at all," but it is like a hard transition for a lot of times. And so, just know, have the confidence that we'll be here. And in Res Life, they're going to be working on character with their advisors. They'll be working on character. So really, just developing a holistic student. John, can we answer a question for you?
It's Marnie again. No, it's okay. We should have updated it in the chat, but we asked this question yesterday and then we actually lost connectivity. Like I'm certain while you answered it, but I feel like it's a little bit relative to academics as well. But we had asked a question about community service, and obviously these boys are all going to have a very, full schedule, and then many of them will have activities, athletics, and whatnot. But thinking ahead in the college process and the importance just as a good human, but also, as that represents a young man. Can you just talk a little bit about like community service and how that complements either the schedule academically or just their overall, weekly opportunity?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have built into our graduation requirements a community service requirement for students. So the expectation is that they do community service, not only just because, like you said, to be a good human, and also for the college process, but to meet that requirement because we do build it into a lot of our programming. So for example, our ropes program, which I can't remember if the character ed conversation was before or after ours, but we have rites of passage trips that our students go on, and a lot of those are community service focused in nature. So those count as community service hours. So we require that every grade level a student goes on a trip where that's a part of the process. We do have, as a part of our sort of afternoon activities, 2 blocks of community service where students can participate in it. But in addition to, even if they're not participating in the community service as their afternoon blocks, our community service program coordinator works with teams to provide community service opportunities within their sports teams. So for example, if your son decides I'm going to play lacrosse in the spring and he doesn't get a chance to sign up for community service in the spring, they'll have community service activities that they're encouraging the lacrosse team to participate in. So that's a part of it as well. Separate from that, some of our weekend activity planning is community service driven. So some of the activities that we do offer on the weekends involve community service and community outreach. So that's something that we provide for students as well. We also have days where we carve out time for students to do service. So one of my favorite days that we do here on campus is our MLK Day of Service. So on Martin Luther King Day, students don't have classes that day. We basically curate service activities for them to participate in with their advisory group. Some of those are on campus, some of those are off campus for them to participate in. We partner with Foxcroft School, which is an all-girls boarding school, and we do different activities with them on MLK Day of Service. So there's different service activities throughout just to help them meet those community service requirements, and we're constantly adding more. So I don't know if that answers your question a little bit, but it's definitely a part of it. We're looking to hopefully sort of add more opportunities for this. So that's definitely a goal of ours, is to continue to add and cultivate those opportunities.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was great.
You're welcome.
I know that another question that comes up a lot, Amber, just about SAT and ACT, some parents have asked that, and so we were just saving it for here. Do you guys want to talk about
Yeah, sure.
what you in terms of preparation and testing?
Yeah, so we do try to build in SAT and ACT test prep into sort of what we offer, separate from what the boys get in the class. I mean, our teachers are informed about sort of different expectations for within these standardized testing. We also proctor the PSAT as early as the 9th grade. So our 9th graders will take a 9th grade version of the PSAT in October, along with our 10th graders and our 11th graders. So they get exposure to these types of tests. From a test prep perspective, we do offer a full SAT, ACT prep class. And we also offer what we call drop-in tutoring sessions that are taught by a Blue Ridge math teacher or a Blue Ridge English teacher. And those come at no charge in addition to families. They can come in, they can get additional tutoring and help. And we usually do those on Wednesday nights. And they can come in and get some additional help to prep for that test. We are a test center for the SAT and the ACT. Let me take that back. We are a test center for the SAT. We are not a test center for the ACT, but we do provide transportation to the local high school for the ACT. And so we just ensure that students have the opportunity to take it. And again, I get back at the practice versions of those tests, the fact that we built that into just sort of our academic schedule. They have exposure, so it's not foreign to them when they come to actually take the SAT in their senior year. So yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions, ladies and gentlemen? I know yesterday you had a lot of dorm questions, so it's pretty like, yes, Mr. Lashing?
Yeah, I missed yesterday, Dorm. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's 1 a.m. 1 a.m. in Cairo here. So I have a question about the dorm, and of course, you know what I'm going to ask. I need to talk to the chef. You know, my concern about my son have issue with the way that the chef cook the egg and the way that he cook the beef, because you know my son doesn't eat certain foods that the school offered. So is that addressed yesterday, or anyone has the concern about the food?
Um, More so just kind of what are the options. I think that I know there were some challenges with the food, and so I think that it would be best for us to connect you with the director of the dining services, and so Alexandra, she will be able to help you, and I'll send you her email and just to introduce you, and so she can kind of go specifically with like what the needs are. Okay.
Yes, please. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm sorry to ask this in this
It's
session,
fine.
but
It's fine. It's fine.
yeah, yeah. Thank you.
And if other families, if students have dietary needs, you can let us know and we communicate that with the dining hall staff. They do a good job of knowing who the boys are and making sure that we're providing what they need. Is it essential for students to bring a laptop or a tablet for classes?
Yeah, so I can answer. So yes, a lot of our teachers do require, well, we as a school do require students to bring their own laptops or tablets. Um, teachers, I think we're all kind of aware of how distracting sometimes technology can be in the classroom, but generally, our teachers do incorporate different types of technology or different programs from your son's laptop. So yeah, it is very helpful for different activities in the classroom and also for their homework during study hall. So yeah, they should be bringing their laptop with them to school and to their classes every day.
And Jack, can you talk a little bit about like how work is distributed, like Google Classroom,
Yeah.
textbooks, handouts?
Yeah, so it does depend a little bit on the teacher, but generally speaking, our teachers do use Google Classroom. So not sure how familiar everyone is with Google Classroom, but Google Classroom is a platform where teachers can post assignments and also give students feedback on their work, pretty seamlessly. So all of our students should have their laptop or tablet, so that way they will join their teachers' Google Classrooms on day one. So the teachers will kind of be responsible for making sure the students are all signed up. And that's where, again, a lot of homework and classwork is assigned on Google Classroom, but also just general announcements about the course. So again, kind of like what Angela was saying earlier in the session, it's a good habit to kind of get our boys to be checking their email, to be checking the Google Classroom on a regular basis, so that way they don't miss any important announcements or anything like that.
Is there a specific material list that students need to bring?
So I believe there was one in the parent. We put a school supply list in the parent in the guide as well. And so that's general you sort of requirements. It's, you know, paper, pens, those sorts of things. Some of the departments did list specific things like calculators. So that should be there. So those are the recommended items to have students bring for school supplies. I will say we do a Target trip within the first week that they are here. And so if they forget something or they don't bring it, you know, those are usually our more popular trips to get items. So.
As well as like you or your son can order Amazon packages and have things delivered. Um, I know that a question is like, how do parents check grades? How do the boys check grades? What's that whole process? Courtney?
Yeah, so we do have a program called Blackbaud, which you know, every boys and parents will both have access to, and you should get you know, information on how to sign up for that relatively soon. It might be in the, I'm not sure, Amber, is it in the parent guide?
It's in the
Yeah.
parents guide. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Blackbaud is kind of your one-stop shop to see your grades. Those are live grade books, so that means you can essentially see your son's grade in real time as it's being updated and by the teacher. You'll see it, you know, in Blackbaud. The boys have access to that. So certainly, if you see, you know, missing work or a low assignment grade or something, that's certainly something you can kind of encourage your son to talk to this teacher about. You know, and boys are pretty good about getting the habit of checking that and make sure that they're all up to date on their work. They have everything turned in and all that. Also, really quickly, just mention that we do have every day we do have a meeting period block. So that's while sometimes that can be used for like all school assemblies, most of the time that is dedicated time every single day for students to meet with their teachers. Sometimes teachers will require students to attend that block, you know, maybe if they need to make up a test or something. But generally speaking, that is a time just to get extra and, you know, on the student's own volition to do that. Generally speaking, I think most teachers would agree with me that the most successful students are the ones that take advantage of that meeting period block very regularly. You know, so that's a really, really great opportunity and kind of just goes back to our academic philosophy on just being really supportive and the personal connections and all that. So that's a really great extra help opportunity that they'll have access to every single day.
And when the boys met with our returning students on Monday, that is one of the things that the returners said they wish they had have used meeting period more frequently, or maybe not at the end of the semester. So, you know, you can start your son out on the fast track by saying, "Hey, did you go to meeting period?" Rita, you had a question?
Yes, thank you. Going back to laptops, we are not sure whether what kind of laptop would be the best. So if there are any basic requirements that like this device should fulfill, or maybe Aaron will have the chance to like order it after arriving to you, or how should we choose? Because at this very moment, actually, he has a laptop, but I guess that won't be really suitable for that system. So if you could just help us in this matter.
Yeah. So, you know, the basic things that the students need are things on their laptop, or things like Google Docs, Google Classroom, Blackbaud. These are all programs that really any laptop can handle. So even if it's something like a Chromebook, which I think is probably one of the most basic, simplest types of laptops you can get, something like that should be perfectly fine. If there is something that, you know, a more specialized program that the students need for a class, we do have like other computers available, like MacBook, like Mac not laptops, but desktops available in certain spaces. So those are more like specialized, you know, classes, like maybe a technology class or something. But generally speaking, a standard Chromebook that has Google Drive will be perfectly sufficient.
Thank you.
I will say, just with the Chromebook piece of things, and this is something that we've been sharing with families, with the SAT moving digital. Chromebooks do not work with their platform. And so generally speaking, if you do buy a Chromebook for SAT testing, they have to use a school device if we have it available. So there is some issues with that. So I usually throw that out there, that if you do elect to get a Chromebook for SAT purposes, they might have some challenges with that. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Mr. Peterson, would you want to throw out any recommendations? Sorry, Mr. Peterson, parent.
No, that's fine. We are agnostic as far as Apple, Windows. Like Jack said, Chromebooks work well, and anything up above that works fine. We have had issues with Blue Book with SAT testing with Chromebooks. That's an issue that may or may not be resolved in the near future. So,
Thank you, parent. Um, I know that one of the other big questions is just about homework and study hall. Do the boys have enough time to get all of their work done? How much work is it? Who's going to make sure that they get work done?
Yeah, I can speak a little bit to that. And Amber, if I miss anything, please add on. So we have study hall every night, the night before they have school, so Sunday through Thursday. Study hall is a 1.5 hour block where it's expected to be quiet. There are faculty on duty, and students are expected to be at their desks doing their work. We do have some support options there too. So if, for example, your son is a ninth grader, they might need a little bit more support. So we do have like a specialized like a breakout room for younger students, like ninth grade students. We also have specialized breakout rooms for students whose GPAs are a little lower or who are missing a lot of work. So those students who maybe are struggling with something or maybe need a little bit more help or support with their homework, they have a breakout room where there's kind of a dedicated faculty member there to support, offer help, ensure that everyone's kind of focused and on task. But outside of that, if your son's an upperclassman and their GPA is in good academic standing, they'll be studying in their dorms. Our expectations is that as you're doing your study block in your dorms, that your doors open, that he's at his desk, doing schoolwork. Generally speaking, with homework will vary, every single day. Sometimes teachers will give a lot, sometimes they'll give a little bit less, but I think generally speaking, that hour-and-a-half block is sufficient for most students to get all their work done. Of course, if your son is taking like a lot of AP courses or something like that, then maybe they'll need to, be a little bit more independent and dedicated beyond that block. But generally speaking, for most students, that hour-and-a-half block is plenty of time to get your work done and on time and of good quality. I'll also add too that if your son is enrolled in the learning center, we do have a learning center study hall at night too. So that's like kind of not every single night, or not every learning center student will be in the learning center every single night. But they might say have 2 nights a week in the learning center where they can kind of work with the learning specialists and kind of get more specialized support there. So that's also an option if your son's enrolled in the learning center.
Thank you.
Also, can I throw in one more thing, Angela? This is not really related to getting work done, but it is a program that we're launching this year that I think really will help students, sort of have some confidence, and sometimes, sort of if they're struggling in a class or they're struggling on a concept. So we're going to be launching a peer tutoring program this year, and so as a component of sort of evening study hall, we will have peer tutors available in those different locations for evening study hall. So students want additional academic help, they can seek out peer tutors, and there'll be an application process for any returning students who might be on this call as well to possibly be peer tutors. So I'll throw that out there as well, not necessarily related to getting their work done, but definitely getting some support with that work. So.
And our faculty are, because it's, again, boarding school, our faculty are on duty in the dorms at night. So our faculty, each teacher will be on duty 1 night a week. So, they might have their math teacher on duty on a Wednesday night, right? So they can certainly access the peer tutor network if their math teacher is maybe not available that night. But there might be some nights where their own teachers are on duty at night, so that's an extra layer of support that they'll have.
Sure. One of the questions is about afternoon activities and sports and outdoor programs. We're going to talk all athletics tomorrow, but the boys will do a different sport. They'll do 3 sports throughout the year. So they'll do a fall, a winter, and a spring. And we'll talk more about that on tomorrow's call with the athletic director. But that's just a little brief thing. Can you let us know when they anticipated receiving the handbook? The handbook should be coming out hopefully by the middle of next week. You have your student guide, and then we'll send out the handbook as well, so that you have that just to help review some things with your son. Anything else? No? We I'll give you a chance to prepare. So after I finish this statement, everyone will cut their camera on and they'll be like, hey. So some I know it's different times around the world. So some of you might be like, let me put myself together. So I'll just talk while you do that. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to Jack, Courtney, and Amber for answering the questions. When you're dropping off your son, if you're dropping off your son, you'll have the opportunity to meet these great individuals as well as like a whole host of other people. If your son is traveling alone, you have the opportunity you can email any of us at any time if you have other questions that come up. You can email Whitney. Whitney is a constant contact, the advisor, or any of the people that are here this evening. Thank you again for showing up. Thank you for cutting your camera on. And some returning parents, I'm happy to say, like this evening, we have 6 states represented in 12 countries. So I know that is a sacrifice for some people, and you're like, stop talking, Angela. I want to go to sleep. But thank you, and we look forward to seeing you on tomorrow. And as I said, we will send out the recordings at the end of the week of all 3 sessions. Okay? Thanks so much. Have a good night, morning.
Good night.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.